Hello everybody, Megazord X here, back at it again to give y'all another very exciting video. And for today, yes, we managed to get finally, some Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom news via Anuma himself. Yes, he managed to sit down for a 10-minute presentation just to show us some gameplay a little bit. It was actually a little longer than a 10-minute presentation, but at least the gameplay was roughly about 10 minutes or so. Because I know Zelda fans have been hammering, trying to get some kind of, information or something like that. Like, they've been very secretive on the news and the information they've been giving us. Like, we only got like a few trailers, and each one of them gave us a tidbit of a snippet or something, and that was pretty much it. It was like, it was like taking a few bites out of the pie, but you want to dig into the whole rest of that thing. But they're like, no, 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 you ain't getting none of this stuff like that. Get your little crummy little hands off of it though. But yes, in today's video, I'm gonna go over my thoughts of what I personally thought of that little bit of that gameplay showcase that Mr. Anuma happened to showcase off to us though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell, stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Okay, in this 10-minute presentation for Tears of the Kingdom, there was essentially only 4 things that they managed to showcase off to us that was the new and biggest parts of this whole entire segment right here. The first one is, you literally see Anuma over here, he was riding on a horse and whatnot, and then you saw this one little item that managed to fall from the sky, and then, he was like, hey, you know what, that might pique somebody's curiosity, let's go ahead and go over there and check it out though. And then by the time he finally managed to make it all the way over there though, he used this little feature that's called rewind. So anything that's kind of like falling from the sky, you can use that rewind feature to basically rewind time itself on that set item, and that was like one way he was able to make it up into the sky islands. That's, all the land masses and stuff that are up there in the sky though. He said that there was many different ways of getting up there, and we actually saw another way how it might be possible to get up there though, but this was just one of the ways how you're able to get up there though. So it kind of leaves, a little bit more left to be desired in terms of like, who knows how many other different ways you could possibly get up this high up in the air. And might I add, the fact that, all of the elevation and stuff that's up in this game and stuff like that, like, in terms of, it's just crazy to see the scope of the land that's on the ground level versus everything that's up in the sky as well, and you're able to actually traverse all of that. Like, the verticality in this game is kind of crazy just seeing that off here in this little bit of a gameplay clip though. But anyway, we get to see Anuma over here, and he managed to actually approach one of these enemies that are up here on the sky islands. And the weird unique thing about this thing is these enemies can use all sorts of kind of different tactics and stuff that might be a little bit different from the enemies on the ground though, because technically the second main thing they showcase off in this thing was the fact that you're able to fuse items. Yeah, so you could take something like a branch that doesn't have like a lot of, durability up on there, combine it with a rock, and then boom, you got a weapon that can hit a lot harder than just like a stick or whatnot though, and is able to do some interesting things. Now, the concept of a fused item, I think it might be simple on the surface level, but when you go deeper than that, I feel like that opens up an infinite amount of possibilities in terms of the ways of how you can either how you can basically handle battle. Because literally we saw an example of this where Link was holding up a shield, had some kind of mushroom on top of it. When the dude hit the shield, poof, a smoke screen went up, and he was able to get behind the enemy and strike a critical blow and doing a lot more damage than what he could have did mano, facing the enemy head on. So it's just little things like that. It's like, what on earth? And I think that's the main defining thing that's going to separate Tears of the Kingdom versus Breath of the Wild. And we saw some crazy things in Breath of the Wild already with people using, the different things off of the Sheikah Slate, like the magnesium and whatnot. I've seen people lifting carts super high up in the air by standing on the top of another one and lifting it. Like, there's been some crazy stuff. People have been messing around with the physics engine on that game and whatnot though. Some crazy clips I've seen on Twitter though. But it's like, I think the Zelda team noticed all of that and was like, how do we take that up to the next level? I think that's some of the things they kind of notice with people playing that game, and some things they're probably putting into the development cycle for Tears of the Kingdom, though. So yeah, so that was the second main thing with the fusion ability, though. And then that very last thing that they managed to add up in here is the fact that kind of similar to how you can fuse items, you can also put together items in, it's like a form of crafting. And the thing that they actually called this was Ultra Hand. And with Ultra Hand, an example that Anuma did, he put together 3 logs. Obviously, they had some buoyancy, and they were trying to get across a lake. So they were able to put those logs together, form a boat, and be able to get from one side to the other. Because if you know anything about Link, he can swim for a little bit, but he can't swim for an extended long period of time before he just drowns out in the middle of water or whatnot, though. And it was interesting because you were able to kind of traverse water in Breath of the Wild. You just have to make sure you already found like a raft or something, that had like a sail up on there, and then use like a leaf and blow it. But now it's getting really interesting because the fact that you can take little things like this, you can take that fan that he managed to have over there in that area, put that onto your little makeshift boat, and use that to propel yourself across the water. So it's interesting how he just showed that one example. The one thing I kind of want to do in this game is find a way to get a fan or something like that, get a torch or something like that, and manage to make a flamethrower or whatnot, though. Like, that is really cool. And then also the fact that even with the fuse ability, you can also do things like, shoot an arrow, and a regular arrow ain't going to be able to shoot something up in the sky, but you attach like a monster eyeball or whatnot, though, then you're able to have like a homing sense on your arrows and whatnot, though. So being able to craft all of those different things makes it extremely better in terms of like the way how you can approach and traverse the world, as well as also do different things with the combat itself. So I'm like, overall, that just makes things really interesting. All right, and then the last thing, because there's technically 4 things he managed to showcase off, was this ability that's called Ascend. We saw this earlier within like the first few, I think it was like literally in like one of the very first few trailers for this game, and hence we kind of knew that there was going to be a sky element, though, or whatnot, though. But Mr. Numa said literally, as long, and there's a few exceptions to the rule, but as long as you're able to get to an area that has a ceiling to it, like for example, if you got some kind of covering over you, or if you happen to be walking inside of a cave, you can ascend and literally go up to the next level above it, though. And then the main reason why they put this up in there is because there's some areas that might be technically too tall for you to climb, or it could take you a very long time to climb if you can find some resting spots in order to rejuvenate your stamina. This makes it a little bit more convenient with traversing the world. So it's like, that is really interesting in it of itself, though. So that allows you to kind of, you can only imagine how people are going to go through this game like speedrunners or whatnot, though. I literally, between the fusing, the being able to craft and whatnot with the Ultra Hand, and then along with the Ascend, I feel like some things are going to probably be broken up in this game. Let me just keep it real. Some things are going to be broken, though. But I was like, oh shoot, though. But yeah, the combination of just these 4 things alone, especially with the fusion and the Ultra Handing thing, is going to make a completely unique, different experience with this game, in contrast to Breath of the Wild. That was the main kind of concern I personally had with this game, was like, what is going to be the thing that's going to make this game stand out versus traditional old Breath of the Wild? Because for the most part, we knew that most of the environments on the ground level are going to be almost the same as the old Hyrule that we saw in Breath of the Wild, though. But I imagine with the little things that they showcase off with that, the way how you can be able to traverse the world a little differently, they might make some few little asset flips or whatnot, those to be able to take advantage of certain new features like Ascend and stuff like that. This is only 4 new things, and they're still being secretive. They said that there's still more things in Link's arsenal beyond that, and it's just really interesting nonetheless seeing all of this stuff play out, though. But I literally feel like the few things they introduced can literally give off an infinite amount of possibilities before we even tack on anything else within Link's arsenal, though. And that's pretty much it in terms of most of the main stuff that was showcased off here in this presentation, at least from the gameplay sense, though. So gameplay wise, I feel like this is amazing. I feel like, at least if you're, somebody that was looking for more information, you got a little bit more to digest. Because, hey, they've been starving you out for a long period of time, though, and at least when you're starving and whatnot, though, even if they give you a slice of pizza, you're going to be grateful for the little bit of stuff that you managed to have. I feel like, at least at this point, that might be it in terms of, what we might get for Tears of the Kingdom in terms of its promotional material. It's been really interesting in terms of the way how they've been kind of going through and promoting this game overall as a whole, though. But it's like, wow, it's like they're really trying to keep their cards close to their chest already, though. That's just really interesting in it of itself, though. But hopefully it pays off, and it should provide some really cool reactions, just seeing different people play this game online, or sharing clips of it on Twitter, or watching stuff on Twitch and YouTube, etc. though. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the gameplay. Since now at the very tail end of this thing, yes, they finally confirmed that leak switch that I talked about in my Zarcast podcast like weeks ago. Yes, it is true. It's same exact design, same everything, even the box itself, though. So yeah, I don't know how that managed to leak out of the manufacturing companies that early, though, but it did manage to get out there somehow, some way, though. So yeah, so honestly, that's really cool right there. Me personally, I didn't actually pick this, item up. I was tempted. I had it up in my cart at one point, though, but I decided, nah, it's just too much. After taxes, like what, $400 something or something like that, though. So I was like, yeah, I just couldn't justify and meet the needs or whatnot, though. So I was like, it kind of hurt, though, because the limited edition itself, it does look really clean, if I do say so myself. Now, also, it's not the only thing that we managed to have over here, though, because we did manage to also get the confirmation there is going to be a Switch Pro controller as well, and then there's also going to be a Switch carrying case for your either standard or OLED Switch, whatever, though. So yeah, so honestly, some really good stuff right there. Me personally already pre-ordered the Pro controller. I think that's the thing that's selling out really quickly, though. Surprisingly, at least at the time that I'm recording this, the Switch OLED is still available to be up for pre-order. Don't know by the time this video drops if it's still up there, though, but surprisingly, I mean, it's up at Amazon, Best Buy, and even GameStop still, surprisingly. I don't know how, but it is. It's not selling out as quickly as what I thought. But outside of that, that's all that we managed to get within this presentation for Tears of the Kingdom. A 10-minute gameplay showcase, and then on top of that, some extra goodies in terms of the Switch itself, the Pro controller, as well as a carrying case, though. So yeah, y'all gotta let me know down in the comment section down below, what all did you think about this gameplay presentation? Is it enough to satisfy your craze at this point in time, knowing that we're roughly about almost a month and a half-ish away from the game officially dropping? Or are you still a little bit concerned? The little bits that they did manage to get, did it not satisfy your taste? Do you still want a little bit more? I imagine most people still want a bit more, but I feel like at this point, you have to be, good enough, at least what they showcased off here, to be able to be somewhat content, at least for now, because knowing Nintendo, they ain't gonna do nothing until like the launch day trailer, and when they drop a launch day trailer, shoot, they might show a whole bunch of stuff up in there, and then at that point, I'm like, I ain't gonna look at it. I ain't trying to get spoiled on nothing else, though, because I think they're really trying to ride high on the success for Breath of the Wild, and they're just playing their cards really close to their chest, though. But yeah, that's basically going to do it in terms of today's video. So if you hadn't already done so, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing in the foreseeable future, though. But remember, y'all, until whatever video I make next, see y'all.